everybody? Welcome back to another MMA YouTube video today. We are going to be doing our rankings and ratings updates. Just a quick preface, rankings and ratings outside of the top 15, well, rankings outside of the top 15, ratings period, are all going to be in the spreadsheet that is linked below in every single video. Yeah, and so the ratings are kind of a FIFA Madden-esque, like overall rating with that little attribute ratings like striking and grappling. Created by us. They're all subjective, and then any rating past 15 is also created by us and subjective. So that's what this video is for UFC 314.
Yeah, quick note before we go on. Sorry to anybody who watched that last video. Um, I think I uploaded it. It was not up to a standard of quality, and I'm sorry about that if you watched that. That won't happen again. Hopefully this video will be better. Like, hopefully you'll be able to hear me. Um, so I uploaded that because I thought we had, good things to say if you could hear it. So, we're probably going to go over some of that stuff again, a bit more brief this time though. But yeah, let's get into it.
All right, we're going to start off on a positive note, as we generally will with these rankings and rating updates, with our biggest risers. So the rankings are not going to be on screen because, for the most part, they don't really matter until the UFC fixes them. The rankings are pretty much horse shit. We might make a whole video, even though Guru and Tracy already have, with this
Yeah.
whole featherweight debacle, dude. It's just unreal. But yeah, let's just start out with the most obvious one of the card, the most obvious biggest riser. I mean, Gian Silva, right? He went from, and you can see I had him at 86. He went to a 92. He went from a good prospect who could maybe be a contender to, like, how the fuck do you beat him? You know what I mean? I mean, this guy just looked incredible. And you could see his stats at the bottom there: 94 striking, 90 grappling, and 89 condition. It's really hard to find holes. It's just like I want to see him against better competition, but just the tape, running the tape, he looks unbeatable.
So I mean, like you said, just how do you beat this guy? He out MMA'd Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell, pretty one note guy, but he has shown some capability in striking. But Gian Silva, he is a near perfect finisher. And even before he gets a finish, it's not like you see any moments where he's getting caught or that he's at any risk. He just dominates every portion of the fight. Even if he's technically losing on the scorecards, you can tell that he like something is going to happen. Which that's what makes his fights so entertaining to me. That no matter what's going on, even if it's just kind of dead air, like Bryce Mitchell's chopping at his leg, takes him down for a second, it's just a matter of time before he just explodes and knocks him down, slaps on a ninja choke out of nowhere, any of this stuff. So Gian Silva, I think it's going to be really, really hard for anybody to beat him at featherweight. Um, Even with all the tape you have with Gian Silva in the UFC, I mean, he has 5 fights now. I couldn't really think of a way, like a solid way to beat this guy. I don't know what you would do as a coach to adapt to Gian Silva. I mean, what we've seen, like the calf kicks work pretty well against him. Um, he can be taken down, although apparently when he trains for it, you can't hold him down very well. So I think people are going to have a really, really hard time planning and adapting to Gian Silva. Fighting nerds. Hey, we have 2 fighting nerds on the screen actually. Um, they've been ridiculous. So
I do Before we get to the legendary Polish fighting nerd, I do want to mention about the calf kicks and the fighting nerds. TJ Dillashaw mentioned this on the Jackson recap. Is that and it's just a thing that everybody's kind of noticed about them, is their lead legs are very susceptible, right? We've seen this with Kaio, and we saw this with Kaio against Cannonier, but we also saw Kaio be able to neutralize that against Cannonier by just walking forward into the fire with a power puncher and winning. And so we've seen this with Gian Silva. Of course, Bryce Mitchell just has nothing on the feet to threaten you, but still, just walked through everything. Got outlanded by about triple in the first round and still won the round.
yeah.
Kind of same with the Over fight, if I remember right. So
Well,
that's just how
yeah.
it goes.
And unless you're Izzy, like when he was in his boring ass title reign, you're not winning fights with calf kicks. So, like Gian Silva, rest of the fighting nerds, they're going to be really, really hard to beat. Of course, that is just a complete cold take. Everybody knows that, but you got to mention it. Like, what do you do with these guys?
And so McCall, he's on this biggest risers thing because I had him way too low, straight up. I was kind of jumping the gun on him being out of the UFC. It was like he was on a 3-5 win streak. It seemed like he was on his way out. I had him all the way down at 70, mostly because of just abysmal grappling and
He had
I
some,
said he's an
yeah,
okay striker, but
weird body conditioning as well. Like he
yeah,
would
the
just get,
condition as well, which I raised up from a probably 70 to a 77. So,
yeah, he would just
yeah,
crumple whenever he got hit to the body. Just weird, but yeah,
yeah. So I was just too low on him. I still probably would have raised him, but I shouldn't have had him at 70. So that's why it's such a big raise to 75, which isn't some outstanding rating, but it's solid, you know.
mhm. Yeah. McCall, I am very glad they didn't cut him with that losing streak he was on. So it was pretty bad, all honesty. But I like McCall a lot. He is always entertaining, always game. Um, he has moments in every fight. Like even if he loses, in whatever fashion he manages to, other than Michelle Pereira, he usually has at least one good moment of success. So you can see like a little bit of potential there in every performance. But against like a guy who sucks, like Cedric Dumas, you're able to actually see what McCall can do here, which is pretty great. He's training with the Fighting Nerds now. That's good for him. Apparently worked out pretty well because now his forearms have enough power to knock people out. And uh, yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see him rise so much because he is a super fun fighter, cool guy as well. And
We love
yeah.
McCall.
So does the hood.
Unless that hood is Pensacola, Florida, where Cedricus Dumas resides.
I
All right.
doubt they even like him there. Cedrico Dumas he's a bum. Fuck
He
him.
raises hell in the community.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get on to I'm not on the fucking slides. Let's get on to the biggest loser. Hate to say it, Nikita Krylov. Now, I would like to say I had him at 88, obviously pre layoff and everything. If this was like the Nikita Krylov that showed up in the Dominic Reyes fight, that's way lower than an 85. However, I don't think it's fair to just totally count out his career. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to lower him to an 80 or even a sub 80, which is about how he looked in this fight.
Yeah.
I'm only going to lower him a little because like it's clearly took a toll on him. He's clearly not the same guy he used to be, mostly in the striking and the conditioning. His grappling stat didn't change. It's still at a 93. We didn't see
Yeah.
his grappling. It's mostly in the condition and striking, which both looked like the layoff just took a massive toll on those attributes. So yeah,
Yeah. No, I mean, even if the performance was pretty abysmal, as we are now, we can blame it on ring rust. I don't think I want to say that, but maybe he was just having a tough time getting back into it after like that ridiculously long layoff where he lost his country and like so much stuff has happened in his life. Um,
yeah,
but it was pretty sad to see. He just looked completely lost on the feet more than he ever has. Never been like a very good striker, but I mean the exchange where he got knocked out uh, was awful. He was off his base, one foot in the air, uh, leaning forward with both arms out, like doing pretty much everything you could possibly do wrong. Um, in a striking exchange with a counter puncher, or really just any striker. Like, it was rough, man. I don't know how he could really think that was ever okay to do that. It's just sad to see. But he's losing a good amount here because like he didn't have any success against Dominic Reyes. It was a pretty short fight, but you know, like you said,
yeah,
probably like a 70 to 80 range fighter if we're basing it off that fight.
yeah. And I would like to say, yeah, his striking before was probably around an 85, which is very good for light heavy or very good, like a high rating, but it is light heavyweight, which these guys are rated by division. I'm not saying Nikita Krylov is an 85 overall, where like Mateus Rebecki is an 80, or he might be higher, but no. But I am saying for light heavyweight, he's 85, and his striking has just been getting worse. So 82 seems high for like a guy with that striking, but it's light heavyweight. All right, let's move on to our only new edition of this card because usually on these big pay-per-views we don't have many like high-profile debutants or guys who are kind of like showing out and being like get me on those ratings. Of course, literally no one says that. We have about 10 subscribers, but that is not the
17
point.
or 18 actually.
Yeah.
To the
Yeah.
moon, man. All right.
So yeah, it's just Pitbull. And was really not disappointed. I want to say disappointed because I expected exactly this. He's 37,
And
43
he
fights.
didn't
We
get
already
finished. That in itself was pretty impressive. Um,
he
but
didn't
yeah,
get finished. He is fighting Eddie Rodriguez, who it's rough for that guy to find a finish. So, and I know he has finishes, but it's like beating up Josh Emmett's body and subbing him, or like randomly KOing TKZ. It's not
yeah,
really the guy can't finish guys on the ground without weird subs. Anyways, Pitbull. Yeah, 80 overall. So you can see his attributes over there. I'd say he is a well-rounded fighter, but it seems like his grappling is gonna be the only thing that he really has. But even that didn't look good. Nothing looked good. I
yeah,
don't want to be too disrespectful. I don't want to be like, this guy's a fucking sub 80. Like, dude, it's still Pitbull. I still think he can beat a lot of guys. If he ends up fighting like Danny Ige or someone and beating them, then of course raising him up a bunch. But I think
yeah.
this is fair for him.
No, this is really frustrating with him debuting in the UFC so late in his career. He's what 37, 38 now. Just way too old to be coming into the promotion. Even if it is fun to see him, I'm glad he did it. But like in his prime, this guy would be like mid to high 90s. He is so good, and it's really sad to see people disrespecting him so much after this performance. Because yeah, it wasn't great, but like literally the worst possible stylistic matchup in ranked featherweight for him, um, and he's old, man. Like what I people, I mean, I don't know how much they expected, but you can't really say like, oh, Bellator sucks. Yeah, there's levels to this because you know I think Pitbull is at least was way better than Yair. Um, it's just how things panned out with his career, and I don't like the disrespect towards him. It's pretty gross, honestly. He is a
Yeah.
legend of the sport.
Absolutely, kill Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're not going to talk about Yair in this video. You could go check out his overall on the spreadsheet if you're interested, but he didn't change. I thought he looked.
Yeah, I mean,
I
he
thought he
he
looked.
looked a little better. It was a good performance, but like I said, stylistically a bit of a layup. Which is weird to say at like high ranked featherweight, but whatever. Um, and he did, like I said, look better, but nothing worthy of changing his score at all. Because he had positives and negatives to the performance. Um, he was a little too gun shy, in my opinion. Just stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I thought
Yeah.
I expected him to be so much more aggressive. I mean, he usually is much more aggressive, and I guess that would have opened him up for some type of offense. Maybe Pitbull expected that too. That might explain some things, but yeah,
Yeah. So Yair's not changing. Let's keep going.
let's get on. Now, this is something probably so many people. This is probably the most interesting topic of like changes, right? And you might see like wait, Chandler wasn't the biggest loser? It was Krylo. Yeah, because I knew Chandler was washed, man. I knew the guy doesn't have it anymore. I knew that watching that Oliveira fight. I don't care if you're in there with Charles Oliveira. He looked fucking terrible, dude. Like,
Also, like
Chandler.
I'd like to mention, yes, Charles Oliveira, like I mean, he didn't even 50-45 him. That's a bad sign for Oliveira. I mean, I don't want to say that with too much authority, like I really mean that, but like that win does not age very well for Chandler here. I mean Oliveira. Like it has me a little scared with some of the matchups
Although
he could get.
I do want to say, I do think Chandler got worse since then, and I do think his next fight he will be even worse. That's why he's at a 78 where he was at an 80. Really just lowering his striking, which I lowered by 2, and lowering his grappling, which I lowered by 1, and his condition by 1. Just kind of overall, just decline, decline, decline.
Mhm.
But hey, Patty though, I got to raise him up. I had him at an 83, which was 3 above Chandler. I believed he was that much better. And now I believe he's this much better, an 8 overall difference. And I think the fight showed that. I mean, he was what, 82-10 on strikes or something, ragdolled him, beat the shit out of him, won every round. If you think Chandler won round 1, you're insane.
I
Sorry,
don't
it's just
think
Patty.
anyone does. Apparently, just
Oh,
the
Dustin,
judges did. Um,
Dustin Poirier did.
okay. I don't know
Um,
why he's vying for Michael Chandler there,
Probably
but
because probably because Chandler won round one against him. So or no, he didn't because yeah, Dustin ended up dropping him. But Chandler won two. Chandler won two. Um,
hey,
anyways,
good on Michael Chandler for not getting dropped in the first round. Maybe the first time ever in a
uh
fight he's lost where he didn't get dropped in the first.
yeah.
Um,
But yeah, so Patty, it's actually really just in the conditioning. I raised up a good bit because the dude didn't look tired at all after a pretty high pace fight, and then the
yeah,
grappling stays the
what
same.
fight was it where he got like, oh, Tony Ferguson, yeah, where he looked like he was dead in the third round, kind of for no reason. Same like output as this fight, but he didn't gas at all, which is great to see. And even if Michael Chandler does not have power like that anymore, he did just like eat some shots that were pretty surprising there.
And the grappling I raised up just by one, just do that top game looking a lot better, and then the striking I raised up a little bit. Once again, it's pretty easy to outstrike Michael Chandler at this point. So
No, but it did look
it's
good. He
he did. I mean, +3 is a solid change.
he had a great game plan. I mean, it's probably pretty easy to make a game plan for Michael Chandler because he is super one note and isn't very good, but like he followed it to a T, did everything he should have. So great performance by Patty.
I dominated.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be awesome
Um.
seeing him at the top of featherweight. I mean,
mhm,
featherweight, lightweight.
Yeah. And so dude, if Patty goes back down to featherweight, he's gonna kill himself. Like, not
Yeah, I forgot he even fought at
horrible,
featherweight.
horrible,
He is
horrible
way
in
too
the
big for
context
that.
of Patty Pimlet's beliefs. All right. Anyways, let's just get on to first. I mean, let's just talk about Julian Erosa because he's on the screen.
I don't
I
even
put
know
him
why
on.
you raised him. That
I
he,
put him because dude, he did look his offensive striking looks solid.
yeah,
I shouldn't have raised him, but I think I kind of wanted to raise him because I think I maybe should have had him a little higher. Like he's definitely really good. Of
yeah,
course,
fair
that
enough.
chin stat is horrible. His defensive striking is horrible, but hey, he's still a really solid fighter. He has great cardio, insane pace, insane like craftiness, and so I thought I'd just raise him a little bit, kind of just maintenance. But I just
Yeah,
wanted to mention it because it's there.
fair enough then. Yeah.
But obviously, the more interesting fighter on this slide here is Diego Lopez, and yeah, I gotta raise Diego, man. I raised up his conditioning. That's pretty much doing all the heavy lifting here. I raised it up probably about 5 or 6. I think it's actually 6. I raised up his conditioning by 6, his striking just by 2, which put him up to a 93, which is like that elite range. Because that's what he is. He's an elite featherweight. He's an elite top 3 type of ranked fighter in the UFC, and we've just seen that. The dude went 5 rounds with Volk and had success in moments, even though for the most part he got dominated, which I wish would be would be highlighted a little more. But he made
Yeah.
it a fight of the night, like it was a banger. So yeah, shout out Diego.
Yeah. I mean, his pace wasn't anything crazy, but he did hang in there solidly for 5 rounds, which was pretty cool to see. I didn't expect that. Uh, to be honest, I thought he would look a lot more tired, punch himself out, because he does when he swings with everything. He does not throw any like volume punches. He's always trying to knock you out. So it is really impressive that he was able to throw with the volume he did without gassing. Maybe I would have liked a little more. I think the problem is you're fighting Volk, and Volk who's healthy and looks good. So that is an almost impossible task. Actually, if it is that version of Volk, pretty much is an impossible task. Um, but yeah, Volk, ridiculous. Maybe the best technical striker in MMA history. Like, dude is so good, and like Diego Lopez, he has 94 striking for a reason. It's just Volk is on a different level among these top level guys on in any
And
division.
we will get to Volk in our
Yep.
like we'll get to him.
So
Oh, did you have more?
no, it's fine.
Okay. This slide is too kind of like Reyes. I don't know. I think it's fair to raise him up. I mean, I know this. We just talked about how this version of Krylov isn't good, like the version that was in this fight. But hey, Reyes did exactly what he needed to, dude. He came out and smoked him. I really just raised his striking just a little, and then his condition just a little, because I don't know, like he wasn't phased in there. He just came in and smoked him, right? Which maybe I should, but I don't know. I just felt it was fair to raise him a little bit to an 80 from an 82 to an 84. That's still not that's the same rating as Khalil Roundtree if you want to go look at the spreadsheet. That's lower than pretty much any elite light heavyweight. But I don't know. He smoked Krylov in the first round. Like I felt like I had to raise him.
Yeah, I mean, and if he keeps winning like that, he's going to be gaining with bigger and bigger increments. I mean, it's just you can't be, you got to pump the brakes quite a bit with Dominic Reyes because he is just so frail with his like durability. Um but if he continues to perform like this, yeah, he's going to get raised by a lot. He's probably going to even reach the 90s again. Um but as of now, there's still a lot of questions. He hasn't been hit really all that much since since Ryan Spann. So there's just a lot of questions with Dominic Reyes here, but great
Yeah.
win, like
And
incredible win.
like Will said, like probably like Jones fight, Blachowicz fight, Reyes was probably like yeah, like a 90-91. And that's almost all in the conditioning stat. And of course a little higher striking, but almost all in that con stat, which is now at a 79. It's just because man,
It's a
he's
horrible
taking a lot of
chin,
home.
man. Like maybe
Yeah,
the worst. I mean, I can't say worst at light heavyweight because
probably
Johnny
no.
Walker exists, but it is really
Yeah,
bad.
I think
Like
Menafield. I think
yeah, I
yeah,
think it's about on par with Menafield, but Menafield just has so much. His striking defense is just horrible, um, and he gasses himself. He does like everything wrong to get chinned. Uh, still like Menafield, but like, dude, sometimes like running at Olberg. But whatever. This video is not about Alonzo Menafield. Um, but yeah, Dominic Reyes just is very frail. Let's go into Chase Hooper.
big pooper dude. Shout out PNW
Yep.
representing. Love Chase Hooper.
Also,
And I don't
shout
know.
out Julian Arosa, PNW. Um,
I, I I did not mean to forget you. We love you too, Julian Arosa,
yep.
PNW represent. Yeah, Chase Pooper, dude, Edom Clot native. No, okay. And this is pretty much
Isn't Enumclaw
entirely
the town where like the dude died um, from the horse?
Mr. Hands,
Yep.
Mr. Hands.
Yeah.
Yep. Um, yes, look up Mr. Hands on Google.
Shout out Mr. Hands.
Yes, maybe Chase Hooper is Mr. Hands, dude.
Maybe, or
Well, no, he
maybe
was
it's his son.
yes, that would make more sense. Anyways, dude, Chase Hooper. All right. This is obviously tiny, literally 82 to an
Yeah,
83, but it's all in his conditioning because it was a pretty high-paced grappling fight, and he hung in there. He answered some questions I personally had, and I think a lot of people had about his cardio. Um, his striking obviously didn't look great, but I don't think it was grounds to lower it. So because it's already like
yeah,
79, not great, but yeah, grappling stayed steady in an 88.
yeah. His last few wins have been a bit more impressive, but I think Jim Miller is better than his last few fights, so that's totally fine. Jim Miller is super capable on the ground. Is so tested, and he's not a guy that gets subbed unless you're like him with grappling. Outside if
Charles
Yeah,
Oliveira,
unless you're
basically.
Charles Oliveira. Um, and I think I don't know. Chase Hooper is almost there. His grappling is really, really good. He just is so creative. He has a super deep bag with jujitsu. He's a really fun fighter to watch. I wish he finished Jim Miller, but you can't get everything you want. It happens. But he's continuing to win. Hopefully, he gets something a bit more interesting. I think this raise in ratings is a bit more maintenance. Um, which is usually happens when it's only like a 1 point bump. But I mean, he deserved it. He beat Jim Miller soundly. Solid.
Yeah. All right, let's get on to our last fighter of the video. Okay, I'm gonna have to change the title, dude, because I can't keep fucking explaining
No,
this every
you
single
don't
time.
have to explain it. It is what it is. Don't change it.
Italian, dude, Italian keeping it, Peter. It's not Italian, but that's just what it looks like, all right? And it doesn't make sense for this video because the red and green, whatever, dude. Basically, what this means is fighters who didn't change, but we thought it was important to talk about them not changing, right? So, like, we already mentioned, like, Yair didn't change, Bryce Mitchell didn't change, but I don't feel like that's important to talk about. Like, yeah, they didn't change because they didn't show us anything different. Volk showed us he still
Yep.
got it. He showed us he still got it, dude. Volk showed us he still got it. Our boy, your boy, everyone's boy Volk showed us he still got it. Not, and I yeah, I had him at a 97 overall, which is top. I mean, the only other people at that rating or higher are Islam and Ilya, I believe.
That sounds
So
right. Yeah.
yeah, like Pantoja like a 96, Moreno as well. So there's guys at nine, but yeah, so he's in that elite club, 98 striking, 98 grappling. Of course, the 94 condition almost entirely because of that chin,
Hmm.
which is not what it used to be.
Dude,
Still good.
we
Yeah,
got to shout out his cardio is ridiculous. Like some of the best in the UFC. He trains that shit doing hill sprints, which that shit works, and a lot of other stuff, of course. But I just want to shout out hill sprints, goated exercise for your cardio. I hate doing cardio, but I will do those. Um, anyway, about Volk, incredible performance. He got caught at times, but you can't fight a perfect fight all the time, and especially when he's like what 35, almost 36, he won back the title. Like that has never happened before. I think
loaded, dude.
yeah, people are they're for some reason taking things away from Volk that just they shouldn't. I think it's weird to say he was running away. Like, why would he trade in the pocket with Diego? And guess what happened when he traded in the pocket with Diego?
He fucking won every single
Yep.
exchange.
I mean, and we've talked about this in the past that it is on the aggressor in these situations, like Emmett Murphy on a lower level. It is on the aggressor to cut off the cage, make those situations where they have to engage in like closer striking battles on the terms of the aggressor. If the
You know who
aggressor
did that?
cannot make them fight on their terms, then they're just not they don't deserve the win.
You
Simple
know who
as.
did that? You know who did that, and who's like a top five pound for pound and on his way to being an all time great? Ilya Taporia,
Yep.
because he can do that.
Yeah,
Because
he's
Ilya
he's
can do that.
incredible at cutting off the cage. Diego Lopez needed to work on that. He didn't. It just wasn't really part of his game. His back and forth movement really great. We mentioned that in the video. If you could hear it, sorry about that. Um, but yeah, his lateral movement not great. He just couldn't really ever catch Volk, and that's not Volk's fault. That is not him being boring. No, he didn't need to trade with Lopez in the fifth. It was an incredible win. Let's just give that to him, okay?
I put on for my city, dude. Windang or Wollongong or whatever. All right. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about, dude.
What the
Everything Will
fuck, man?
said. Volkanovski, he kept it, Peter.
Yeah.
All right, and that's going to do it, guys, for that ratings and rankings updates. Once again, just open that spreadsheet in the fucking description, dude. Use it as a guide for every video. Just look at it. It's a fun time. Obviously, comment if you think there should be any changes. I'm
Yeah.
very open to it. And yeah, that's
Hey,
it.
and it'll also help you learn the roster if you're trying to get, uh, you know, trying to get more into MMA. I hate the word, but break away from being casual or whatever. Um, but yeah,
Get that knowledge up, dude.
yep.
Get that knowledge up. We got guys, dude. We got guys like fucking. Okay, I can't think of some. We got
J-
guys like Suma Derji in there, dude. We got guys like
Jimmy
fucking
Flick. Actually, we don't
Jim,
have Jimmy
dude,
Flick.
no, yeah, we got guys like Alan Nascimento in there,
Yeah.
dude. All right, I don't know why I'm only thinking of flyweights, dude. We got guys like fucking David Martinez. All right, so check it out. Okay, we got
Almost the
you know
entire
dude,
roster.
we have fucking Rafa Garcia in there, dude. All right, so yeah, check it out. We have fucking Aliascab Kizreev in there, dude. All right,
There we go. That's a good shout. All right. Uh, thank you
I'm actually
guys
thinking.
for yeah, thank you guys for watching. Again, one last time, briefly. Sorry about that last video. Should not happen again. We figured a lot out. We're learning with this. Obviously, we only have like 10 videos on this channel. We'll keep getting better with it. So thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, do whatever, do the YouTube stuff. We'll see you in the next one.
Decapitate Joe Rogan.